This is Real Generational Wealth. Live from Southern California, this is Abby, ESPIE, and Jen.
Hi, ladies.
Oh.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Real Generational Wealth, where we have over 50 years of combined experience making sure you and your family always have a place to call home. So in the last few weeks, we've walked you through the buying process. We've also walked you through the selling process, but mostly for your primary residence. So today, we want to talk to you guys about investment properties. From buying rental properties, becoming landlords, leveraging your property's equity, to buying and flipping. So let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching us live, hashtag live. If you're watching us on the replay, definitely hashtag replay. So ladies, I don't know if you know, but today is our 10th episode.
Yeah. Yay.
So
Time
for those of you
flies.
who are watching, thank you if you have been tuning in every week for the last, I think it's been probably 12 weeks because we took a couple breaks. But for those of you who may just be starting, if you don't know this, I think this started just as a homework assignment for Abby, this show, and the three of us decided to collaborate, and now it's a thing. I don't think we initially planned on how long it was going to go, but with all your feedback, all your guys' questions, we realized we want to continue to inspire you guys to achieve your real estate goals and help you create real generational wealth. So today, investment properties, rental properties. I know a lot of people think, oh my God, I have to have money to buy a second home. How do I even get there? This and that. Well, Abby will get into that, but I do want to let some of you guys know there's always the option of you using your primary residence and turning it into an investment property. Like I own a condo right now. My goal is to buy a house this year, and I'm going to keep it and use it as a rental, and take the rental income from there. So you've got different options, but I wanted Abby to really cover the idea on buying a second home because I know a couple of weeks ago, a few people asked about that property. I think you refinanced on one.
Yes. Yeah. So me and my husband own a property in Fontana. We bought it in 2016. We bought it as a new construction from Lennar. And new construction is perfect for an investment property because it hasn't depreciated yet. Like you're getting something that's new, and the benefits are it's still under warranty. So we bought that home. It's about 2,800 square feet. It was bigger than our house at the time, and it was bigger than the home that we were living in. And I was kind of like, wow, our investment property is bigger than our house. But so this one we bought for $457, and now when we refinanced, it appraised for about $575. So it appreciated quite a bit, and we've had the same tenants there since 2016. So the tenants that we have, they pay kind of below market value. I mean, I told them if you're ever late, even a day, we're gonna raise the rent. So they got scared. So now they usually pay us before the end of the month instead of the first or second or third. They always pay us on time. And it's a great property. It has solar panels, and the story was actually the home was supposed to go to my friend because I was helping her find a home in that community. And it came up, it was available. It was like, oh, there's a quick move-in home. So for those that don't know, when you buy new construction, a quick move-in home is a home where it was an escrow with a previous buyer. And for some reason, it fell out of escrow. Maybe the buyer didn't qualify for the loan. So it went back on the market. But the buyer already chose the finishes. And because the next buyer doesn't have the option to choose their own finishes, they get it at a discount. Yeah. So I looked at it. I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. We have some extra money, and we want to invest it in another home. So
Are the quick move-in homes, sorry to cut you off, are the quick move-in homes, do they tend to be cheaper than ones that you get to pick your finishes out on?
they are
Usually.
cheaper because you're in the current phase.
Right.
If you pick out the finishes for homes that are going to be 2 or 3 phases down the line, every time there's a phase release, the home price goes up. So if you're buying a new home, try to get in the first phase because the last phase is going to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
So it's just like buying homes right now too. Like when you buy a home right now, the next home that's comparable will be even more expensive. It just seems the trajectory just seems to be that way. So, anyways, with our investment property, our rate was about 4.5% because it was considered an investment property since we already had our primary residence. And at the time, 4.5% was pretty good. And now, with rates being so low for investment property, we were able to get 3.5%.
Nice.
We
That's good price.
refinanced.
Yeah.
We save a few $100s per month.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of it adds up.
Better cash flow.
Yes, and then because I've been paying for the gardener. My husband doesn't pay for the gardener. I pay for the gardener, and I'm just like, hey, we're not writing off the fees for the gardener. Our gardener is about $45 a month for that property. So rates are still low right now, and you can definitely buy an investment property. So the way we qualified was my husband. My husband qualified for a second home just based on his salary, not so much debt. I mean, you can do it yourself too. It's just so we had to put 20% down. Usually with an investment property, it's 20 to 25% down, but there's hacks around it. Okay, so if you want to buy an investment property in a vacation area, like let's say Big Bear, right? So it's like a resort area or resort town.
Or Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
Yep.
So if it's considered by the lender as a resort town, they'll count it as a second home rather than an investment property. So the benefits of having it as a second home is that you can take advantage of low interest rates. Like with a primary residence, for instance, the rate right now is 2.5 to 2.75%. And with an investment property, it's 3.5 to 4%. So that's a huge difference. I mean, a percentage point that's huge in your payment. So if you guys are looking to buy in Big Bear, the rate or your interest rate will be the same as your primary residence. And it's not even that far from you. And you guys can do, so I see a lot of people on Facebook going to Big Bear. And what you can do too is a trend right now is people are using Airbnb. Like they're renting out their property. They're putting it on Airbnb when they're not using it. So you can contact the local property management company in Big Bear and have them manage your property. They can take care of coordinating the cleanings and also coordinating with the people, the short-term rentals that will be renting your property. So
get a property management company. Do it.
Yes, a local property management company from Big Bear. I see their signs a lot, and I think it's normal there. And I see a lot of people making big profit renting out their properties to short-term rentals or just people looking to go snowboarding for the weekend. So also another topic I was going to cover was fourplexes. One of the things with a fourplex is if you live in one of the units in a fourplex, you don't need a big down payment, even though it's an investment property. So if you live in one of the units, it's considered your primary residence, and you can use a VA loan or an FHA loan or even conventional with 3% down. You can use that on a fourplex as long as you're planning to live in one of the units. Okay, so another thing I was going to talk about was how to find a good tenant. Okay, our tenant is very good. It's because she's kind of scared. Like I kind of scared her in the
Well, how'd you
beginning.
find her? Like, where was it?
Okay,
Did you
so
list somewhere?
yeah, so the way you find a good tenant is you have a realtor, you have an agent, post your home for lease on the
Who can
MLS.
qualify? Yeah.
Yes, but you don't always go. So my experience with leases, I don't do them much. I mostly just do them for my existing clients. But with leases, when you have someone that's well qualified, 800 FICO score, they could buy a house easily. They are so picky. They're
Yeah.
super picky, and then they'll give your clients a nightmare. Like they're nightmare tenants because they want this done right away and this and that. So sometimes it's good to find a tenant that has okay credit. Just charge them more for the deposit. Just have them do 3 times the monthly rent as a deposit, or 2 times the monthly rent for the security deposit, so that in case they don't pay, you have some recourse, right?
Yeah.
You have like that nice cushion. But yeah, from my experience, very overqualified tenants, they're difficult to deal with. Like they're very demanding. So with some tenants too, they made a mistake. They had a short sale. So, a lot of people have gone through something like that. If you just get a feel for them, like they're remorseful and they'll pay on time, then, maybe you can overlook some of the things on their credit report that aren't perfect. Also, what I like.
You froze.
Uh-oh, she's frozen.
Abby, you're frozen.
Oh no. I thought it was my connection.
Was it me? Was it mine?
Yeah, you froze.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Okay.
so what was I saying? Okay, so if the tenant has very questionable credit, you can have them on auto pay. You can set this up with their bank. Have them set it up with their bank. They can do auto pay on the first of every month to ensure that you get paid on time as the landlord. Because being a landlord, it's stressful. Like we were stressed out because Governor Newsom has this thing with the forbearance, and if they're not paying, you can't evict them. And I was just like, oh my
A lot
god.
of people are not paying their
Yeah,
rents
a
right
lot
now.
of people aren't paying their rent or their mortgage right now because of the forbearance period. So we were concerned that our tenants would do that to us, but they're very nice. Also, another thing too that you can do to ensure that you get money from tenants is you can have them pay through Zelle. Zelle allows, there's a limit, I think, of 2,500, but Zelle allows them to pay you right away instead of getting a check. Like checks, I feel like they're so old school. Like check, you have to go to the bank and then you have to deposit it and wait for it to clear. But whereas with Zelle, it clears right away. Or
It's
if
an
you have them on
instant.
auto pay, you get your money first before anyone else gets their money. So that's the thing. If you
And
guys
no
have
fees. There's no fees in it.
yes,
Yeah.
that's true. It's free. There's no fees or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone in the audience has any questions about being a landlord or leasing, just feel free to contact us. Now, okay, so SB, why don't you tell us about how baby boomers can leverage their home equity with regards to investment properties?
Well, Abby, this is the best time to cash out from that equity. You know,
Mhm.
if you are 55 and over, this would be a great chance for you to take advantage of certain laws that came up, like the Prop 19.
Yep.
There are some 55 and over that are empty nesters, and now they have a big home,
Mhm.
big house. They're
Yes.
still working, they're still active, but then they have a big house and a lot of equity that they were able to accumulate for the last 10 years. And considering that we have low interest rate, okay, this is a great time to transition. There's more and more people now who are moving out from the big cities because they can work online. And if you move out to, like 30, 40 miles away from the big city, you can get a bigger home, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. So
Mhm.
on the Prop 19 that came out, actually all over here in California, if you move to another place, you can carry on, take with you the property tax basis that you are paying now on your home. Okay, you can sell your home, take that property tax with you, and buy another home. Let's say you bought a home for 500,000, like in Riverside. Nice ranch home, one story, 4 bedroom, 3-car garage. You can easily buy there. And you can put a big down payment on it, cash out on your 1.2, $1.5 million home here in the valley, in like here where I'm at in Sherman Oaks, Studio City. Homes are really, the value is in the land, you
Yep.
know, and move there, take your property tax that maybe about 10 years ago you bought that house for a lot less, like 300, 400,000, and now
Mhm.
you sold it for 1.2, 1.5, or even more, you know so your property tax you can carry on with you and transfer it to the new home. you know
Yep.
and what I found out is that, like, new homes right now, the big developments, the property tax are like about 2%.
Yes,
Really, really
yeah. The new
high.
construction homes are 2%.
Yeah, yeah. So if you carry your if you bring your old property tax, then you should be able to have a better cash flow there. And another step is, once you are 62 and over, then that reverse mortgage can kick in. You can apply for the reverse mortgage, and if, let's say, you are at that age right now, you're 62, or over, reverse mortgage and Prop 19 would be so sweet to combine, because you can take your property tax now, move to a new home, okay,
Keep the
and
school tax base.
do a reverse mortgage, and the down payment you have to do is like about 50% to 62%, you know, um, and you don't have to pay mortgage anymore, until you exit that home, you know. And a lot of people are asking, oh, reverse mortgage is like have a negative connotation, but actually, it is great for the baby boomers. A lot of baby boomers right now, 60, turning 65 every day. A lot of them does not have enough um, retirement money.
Yeah, Social
They're
Security doesn't pay enough.
Yeah, yeah. So the average Social Security right now, in general, here in the United States, is about 1,600 to 2,000. So how can you live with
Yes.
that, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're a couple, if you're receiving $4,000, that's still not enough to sustain you, with a lifestyle here in California. So if you do a
Right.
reverse mortgage, then you can use that Social Security money that you have for your living expense. you know the only thing that you will have to deal with on a reverse mortgage home is, um, you should be able to show that you can pay the taxes and insurance, because remember, that is your main collateral with the lender.
Right.
Yeah. So of course there's intricacies in that, and if there's some people out there who wants to know a little bit more about that, I'll be happy to discuss that with you. On the side, just feel free to talk to me, because there's little ways, different things of combining all of that together. So another thing that people can do at this time is, those baby boomers who have owned, investment properties. Like for Abby, during the age of like 30, 40 years old, between 40 and 50, usually is the time to accumulate, right? You
Yes.
buy a property, you buy a second property, you go in different seasons of the real estate, and then you rent out your home, then you buy another home, you
Mm-hmm.
use it as owner occupied, and then I have actually clients who have done that. like 4 or 5 times, where they would buy a rental property and they own another. They would live on one property and they would just move from one property to another that they have rented, and cashed out the capital gains on that without paying the property, the capital gains, or use the 1031 exchange to defer the capital gains they got from a rental.
Can you explain to some people that are watching maybe how capital gains works or what a capital gain is?
The capital gain is in general, okay, because there's different formulas there, and the CPA and your tax guy has to show you.
Mhm.
But in general, when you buy an investment property, okay, and let's say for 100,000, and then now you want to sell it, and it has doubled. Now it became 200,000.
Right.
So you have a capital gain rough estimate of about 100,000, right? You have to remove all the expenses, but just for math,
Round
you
number.
you round it up. Let's say you made 100,000 on it. So Uncle Sam wants his share, right? He wants like 30 to 50% of that, based on your tax bracket at the time that you're selling it.
Yeah.
So the way to do it, the way for you not to pay taxes is to defer that by buying another property that is maybe equal or more value,
Mhm.
So in a certain time. So that's the reason why you have that 1031 exchange.
It's to defer the taxes that you would
To
have
defer the taxes. It's not like you're not paying tax. You are deferring it. You're pushing it to the next property.
because
And
with
there are some.
with an investment property, they don't have that 250,000 or 500,000
Limit.
exception for couples for the gain. Whereas on the primary residence, you don't get taxed on the gain if it's less than 250 for single and then 500,000 for a couple.
Right. Right. So if it's an owner occupied, let's say it's your house and you want to sell it now. Like, for instance, I have one client and she bought it like 5 years ago. Now she has about 170,000 equity on it, and she wants to buy another house. Now it was just
Mhm.
stepping up, right? From a condo to a single family home. So because she's single, then she has up to 250,000 gain
Mhm.
that is free of tax. In other words, you don't have to pay capital gains on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you made 250,000 and you're single, and that is net. In other words, you have removed all your cost,
Expenses.
the expenses, your cost to sell, your commission, expenses to
Oh,
repair the house and all that. So you have up to 250,000 of gain that you don't have to pay Uncle Sam on taxes. Now, if you're a husband and wife, then you have up to 500,000. So meanwhile, if you are a baby boomer and you have several income properties that you want to cash out now, and you don't want to pay taxes, you can defer it by doing the 1031 exchange. Or there are some other new ways of doing it too, not only 1031 exchange right now. You can do like an installment sale.
Oh, that one I'm not. Can you
Yeah, I know.
Either.
elaborate on that, please?
That's
advanced.
one of the new things that but of course you need to talk to your CPA and your tax
Yeah.
guy to get that done, but there are ways of doing it. Okay, so remember, the key is, once you touch the profit, then Uncle Sam wants his share on that thing, right? So if this is the profit, Uncle Sam says, hey, where's my share, but
Yeah.
if you got only half of the profit, then you only pay, a certain portion to Uncle Sam, right? Because that's the only thing you got, So that's the main idea of the 1031 exchange, or the installment. Uh, they have a name for it. It's an installment sale.
Mhm.
So if you want to know more of that, anybody here in the audience wants to do that, feel free to to message me, and I can go 3 ways with the reverse mortgage guy or the CPA or the lawyer guy that I work with that can show you how to do that, and then I will do the sales part of it, and he's going to do the creative part of it on how to do, how to defer the taxes, you know. So always for the baby boomers, especially the ones who are like 55 and over, you have to start planning on how you're going to leverage on the equity you've got, you
Right.
know. Don't focus on you're in forbearance, you are this, you're not working, or because maybe there's your home may be your gold mine right now. Maybe that's what you're going to use to leverage yourself.
Yep.
And it's always good to talk to people, and people who are in the profession like us. We always offer free consultation because it is when you have that synergy of three or four brains of on different facets, a lawyer, a planner, and a realtor who can help you out. Then you can make a better strategy on how you can have how you can produce wealth for your retirement, right?
Yes,
So what about
make your money
yeah.
work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what I can share today with investment properties. This year, I think there's going to be a lot of people who's going to think about that because our value has been going up for the last 10 years, and the rates are low, and with the new administration, with, the economy is starting to get robust right now. We're going to start having inflation kicking in. So before that happens, before all these changes happens, maybe this is the best way to reposition yourself, right?
Yes, that's true. I have a lot of
Yeah,
people saying, "Oh, there's so many people buying right now. I want to wait until later." Like, oh,
yeah,
so you want to wait until you're priced out of the market, or when interest rates go up? Is that when you
yeah,
want
Interest rates already started going up, right? Like
yeah.
Yes,
It
beginning
they
of,
have
started going up.
yeah,
started.
last week they already started. They're on the rise
Amazing.
already. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So, like even on a reverse mortgage, you are actually getting into a home and you are locked in to an interest rate that is today. So if the interest rate goes up to 5 to 7%, 10 years, 20 years from now, then your rate is locked in to whatever is the rate right now,
yep.
Mhm.
you know. Yeah. So what about you, Jen? What's going on your side of the fence with
So
these
well,
investment properties, the flippers?
so to recap, I know I just want to catch a few people up because I know we got some new people hashtagging live here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. To recap, we talked about using your primary residence and turning it into an investment property as you move up into another home. Abby talked about staying in your primary residence and then qualifying to buy another home. And then SB talked about basically using your equity, buying another investment, and then deferring the taxes through a 1031 exchange. So I wanted to cover buying and flipping. I get a lot of questions about it all the time. It's, being a real estate investor it sounds very sexy. But that's
That's
what
right.
Sounds
HGTV makes
glamorous.
it look like,
Yeah, based on what's on TV.
and it's not. It is nothing like that. Um,
Blood, sweat, and tears.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely blood, sweat, and tears. I I've flipped probably a handful of properties. My first two properties I actually got before I bought my own place. And it's nothing like the shows. If anything, the shows simplify the profit that they make. They say, "Hey, we bought a house for 200,000. We put 33,000 into it, and we sold it for 350. Cool. We made 117,000 for like a few weeks of work."
Do you
Mhm.
really make that money? Like, what do you do with the taxes?
Well, you do face the capital gains, which SB was talking about.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
mean, there's so much more that goes into it, right?
Mhm.
A lot of what these shows don't take into consideration are the closing costs when you buy. So a house doesn't just cost 200,000. There's also closing costs when you sell. So there's more than just the repair costs that you put in. And then if you're getting a loan, if you don't have the cash, there's holding costs, right? You have a mortgage to pay. So you have wherever you're living, wherever it's rent or mortgage where you're at, and you still have to pay for the monthly expenses to keep this house going.
And isn't it usually hard money loans instead of, since it's an investment property or flip?
Yes. Well, so that's why.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, I mean, it depends. I've also, I wanted to talk about one I did last year in Orange County. We closed in February. I actually partnered up with somebody and we got a hard money loan. We actually got a hard money loan for the house and a hard money loan for the construction. And so in February, right before COVID, it closed. Well, we closed at the end of February and then COVID hit. And the state or the Department of Building and Safety shut down. So nobody was responding to us for our permits for 3 months.
How stressful.
Everything came to a complete halt for 3 months. We could not start on any repairs. So we're basically paying for 2 loans.
The interest.
Yeah. It costed us money, right? So there was that. And then, I mean, it was a bigger job. We bought the property for, I think it was $405,000, and we ended up putting $125,000 in. Now, the thing is, there's so many things you want to take into consideration, right? You want to take into consideration your repair costs. So I know a lot of people want to save money and they want to say, oh, I can do it myself. Let me change the floor. Let me paint it myself.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of clients who are like, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to do it myself. And, there are some cases where it's possible, right? Like for some houses, it's very minor work. And so you don't need to do anything serious. But then there's a lot of properties, and most of the ones that are like good deals usually have a lot of repairs.
Yes.
And if you do it yourself, you may end up costing yourself more money if down the line you didn't do a good job, and then the buyer does their home inspection and they catch, A, B, C, D is wrong with the house, and then you're gonna have to give a credit or like repair even more. So I usually suggest to investors, if you're not handy or if you're not a contractor yourself, hire a professional. Professional.
Yeah.
You don't have to redo it.
Yeah. I mean, all I've ever done in any of our properties is I've taken a sledgehammer and broken a wall just because I want to try and break a wall. But I never do any of the repairs myself. I'm not handy in any way. So repair costs, that's something to keep in mind. So I know you mentioned hard money. Some investors have cash, and hey, that's cool. If you have an unlimited amount of cash to buy a $400,000 or $500,000 house, you have cash to buy $100,000 house, but most people don't. So that's what forces people to get hard money loans, and that for a lot of our viewers is very expensive. Most of the hard money loans, interest rates could be 9 to 10%, as opposed to the 3% you're buying when you're buying your own place. You do usually need to put a pretty big down payment down, 20%, maybe sometimes even 30%. And then it costs you points as well once you're closing the loan or once you sell it. So you want to basically talk to a professional to make sure that you are, of all the fees and costs that are going to be associated in the purchase.
Yes.
Another suggestion I do tell people is you want to stick local. You want to get a property that's at least somewhat near you where you can drive to. You want to be able to go to the property, even if you're not doing the work yourself, you want to be able to visit your contractors and make sure that they're doing their job.
Make sure they're there.
Yeah.
Make sure they're actually
going back to the Orange County property that we had last year, we closed in February. We didn't get approval for any of our permits until May. So we didn't start on any repairs until May. So we had to hold it for 3 months. And
that's stressful.
Yeah, it was a while. And then the contractors were friends of friends, and we're like, okay, we could trust them. We kind of only visited the job site by once or twice a week. And that was our bad. The contractors lagged, whoever they outsourced. I remember coming in one time actually on a Saturday, and
no one was there.
Sleeping in the house. People were eating lunch, and I get it. You have to have lunch too, but I mean, they were like chilling. They were not doing anything. I was like, oh, okay, great.
They usually do. If you're not there to make sure, They're not motivated.
Exactly.
To
They'll
do it
just
on
do
their
whatever
own.
they want. So you want to stay local. Because I mean, like, I know when I bought my condo, I was there every day. But I mean, it was my place, right? So I just wanted to make sure they were doing the right things. But even as an investment, even if it's not your property, you're going to be selling it. So you still want to make sure the crew's doing their job because
and make sure that they're scared of you a little bit.
for sure. And
They
I
have to be
know,
accountable.
yeah,
You have to have a contract that they can be accountable
definitely
for their delivery.
I mean,
Yeah.
we started in May. We actually started repairs in May, and we didn't list until September.
Oh my gosh, how much
Yeah.
did you guys spend on
June,
the
July,
loan?
August. So that took 4 months. They told us it was going to take 60 days. So again, for those aspiring real estate investors, keep in mind the holding costs, right? If it doesn't finish as soon as you anticipate, you're going to have to be paying those monthly costs.
Time is ticking.
Yeah.
Interest is there, being charged to you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
every day.
another one thing I do want to tell other investors is stick to what you can afford. I know some people are like, oh, I want to buy big and build big and sell big, and those are great. But I mean, don't discount the smaller ones. And I'm saying that because my very first one that I flipped was in 2015. Bought a 1-bedroom condo in Long Beach. I think I bought it for like $100,000. And the repairs were actually very minor that I maybe could have done myself, but I didn't. I hired a contractor. We basically put in new floors, we painted it, and then changed a few things in like the bathroom and then like kitchen counters, I think. But so we bought it for 100. I sold it for 135 within like 45 days from when I closed on it because I think
that's not bad.
Yeah, the repairs only took me like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's another 30 days, sold for 135. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, you made 35 grand super quick. No, it's not that easy. Well, I mean, granted, I think it was like 10 or 12 grand in repairs and then the closing costs and whatnot. So I think net, taking into consideration everything I put in, I came out with 13,000. So I mean, hey, 13,000 is still good for 45 days.
Yeah.
But not every deal is like that. Right.
Plus the experience.
Yeah. Well, that's why. So not every deal is like that. I mean, take into consideration today's market. It's actually pretty hard to find a deal, right?
It is.
Yeah.
With 50 buyers on one property, you've got people submitting 100,000 above asking. It's so hyper competitive right now. It's really hard to find a deal, but it doesn't mean you can't find it, right? You, as an investor, you want to look outside the box. You may stumble upon it. Someone might be talking about a divorce, and they need to get rid of their house. Going back to what you ladies were saying is a lot of people aren't paying their rent. They're not paying their mortgage, right? So at some point when this moratorium is lifted, there's going to be people behind on their mortgage. And
I'm starting to see it. Like I keep track of all the notice of defaults and it's like, wow, it's going up. It's going up every month. It's like, okay, new people I can send letters to see if they want to sell their home. Right. But I noticed the numbers are increasing.
And I mean, who knows where that number is going to go once the moratorium's lifted, right?
That's why it's a good time to sell right now because you don't know what's going to happen. Like when the moratorium is over, are those foreclosures in your area, are they going to lower your property value? Because I assume they will if you're in an area with a lot of foreclosures. Where I'm close,
it's going to affect you, of course.
Yeah, in San Bernardino County and Riverside County, I mean, they were hit hard during the recession. So I just anticipate I see a lot of notice of defaults in San Bernardino County. So yeah.
So that's why we ultimately don't know where the market's going to go. But there's always places to find deals. You just, again, you got to look outside the box, think outside the box, and look for it. And most importantly,
also what you were saying with your flip, the main objective is to make money, right? Yeah. So you don't want to over repair or over upgrade. Like you don't want to put Carrera marble in a 1-bedroom condo.
You're not going to put what you would want in your dream home. Right.
Yeah, you don't put that because it's not really about you. Like you have to remove the emotion from it. You're here to make a profit. So you want to just do the minimum that will
Yeah,
get.
you have to do the standards, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially for that particular investment, because there's some people who flips mansions too.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
has to really
Yes.
match what
Yes.
that market, that kind of
It's
market.
got to match the improvements of, it's got to be conforming,
Yeah.
right, to the area
Mhm.
and to kind of what that local market is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it could range from this 1-bedroom condo to 3-bedroom house to, you know, a 6-bedroom new construction, you know, that can cost multi-million dollars. So the range is there's a huge range basically, but it ultimately, like what Abby said, is it's got to make sense, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to want to always factor in the cost, how much you're putting in, or closing costs, both on the buying and the selling end, and then seeing then what the profit is. And for some people, hey, 50,000 might be a lot of money, but what if it's going to cost them 250,000 to put in? Like, sometimes it doesn't make sense, right? It's got to be a certain percentage, and every investor is different. I have some investors that are like, no, it's got to have a 10% cap rate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to make at least, 10% on my money. Or there's some where I'm okay with 2%. It's different. If
Well,
you're
here in California, did I lost
there
we
you go.
lost you, Jen. We lost you.
You're there.
Uh-oh, SB.
Yeah, I lost you.
I'm here. You good?
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going.
No, because there were times that we lost you. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So if you're doing flipping, especially here in California, where the value is just too high, that's the reason why some people are going outside of California, and they
Yep.
say that it makes sense, you know. But those people who go outside of California, they go in packs. They go in a group, Like for instance, I belong to the LAREIC, Los
Mhm.
Angeles Real Estate Investor Group. So if you want to do flip, educate yourself first, and then
Yes.
maybe go with a team. Learn it first, go with a team, and then make your investment, because there are indeed, like Phyllis was mentioning something that, oh, you can go outside of California and you have a better conversion. Yes, you can. However, these are kinds of investment that are really done by sophisticated groups.
Right.
So if you want to go that way, because there are some engineers, scientists, doctors out there who has got a fat 401ks, and they're thinking of how you're going to use that money, and now they are promoting it for make it, they convert some of it into a self-directed IRA. That way you can invest real estate on your own using it. And when you get into those kind of investment strategies, you can, but it's very important that you educate yourself first, and you start baby steps.
Yeah.
Before you go with it, just like what Jen was saying, it's not necessarily you want to go with a big project, because years and years ago, I actually I dated this guy who was putting
Oh, yeah,
together,
tell us about it.
investment. Invest- yeah, he was buying apartment complex in San Jose and turning it around, fixing it
Oh,
up.
he's big time.
And he would join these singles groups and meet a lot of people who's got a lot of equity in Silicon Valley, and put their money together, you know, and buy buildings,
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good, everybody loves you when they get their profit, but if it turns sour,
Yeah.
you're the
Oh,
bad guy, you
yeah.
know. So it's very important that you know the team that you're gonna go with.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't invest,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's important, because you only hear about the good stories and the success stories,
Right.
but the reality is, it's really blood, sweat, and tears. And if you're going to invest like 500,000 of your own money that you have saved up for the last so many years, you want to make sure that it really grows, and you made the right choice, right
That's true. It's
strategy. Yeah.
stressful. It's stressful.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think it's stressful dealing with contractors, especially. You
Oh,
have to
yeah. They have a
have
lot of games.
skin and wherewithal. Like for
I
me,
mean, they
I like
always
dealing
promise
with
one thing and
contractors.
it's something
Yeah,
else, and then they charge you
exactly.
for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
change order, and it's a headache.
Hmm.
It could be.
But
Yeah.
what I think Phyllis mentioned something about writing an incentive for contractors. If you have contractors referred by an agent that I have contractors I've been working with for like 10 years,
Yeah.
and they've always been pretty reliable. But I don't want to be responsible if something goes wrong, But for the most part, they're pretty reliable. So your agent is a good resource to use
For
in
sure.
case you want to do flips, or if you need advice, like you want to start small or start slowly. Your agent is a good resource for that. So.
I actually want to piggyback on that. Kind of also what Espy was saying and you're saying is ultimately you want to work with an agent, right? Whether it's you're buying a second home or an investment property or to flip. I mean, it's an agent will be your trusted source, not just to find you the deal, and it's not just because they want to get a commission. I mean, you want someone who's going to work entirely on your side, right? You want someone who's going to negotiate for you and make sure that they help you analyze the market values for when you buy it and then when you resell it. Also, or even if you buy it and you're going to be getting a rental, you're a tenant, you want to make sure that you get good rental comps also. So
Yeah.
ultimately, your team, your agent, your trusted source should help you learn and understand basically the ins and outs of real estate investing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because your agent will have a team themselves. Like they'll
Right,
have
right. They have a team of professionals too.
Yes, that they already
So
work
if you're just investing and you are a full-time professional, your mind is in
fine.
your profession, right?
Yeah.
If you're a doctor, you're a dentist, or whatever you are, that is your profession, and that's where your mind is, and that's where you're good at. So with a realtor who is a full-time that really is in the game, they also work with a team of professionals, and they make sure that this team of professionals are also vetted before they bring them in to cater to a client, just like
Yes.
you, an investor. They
And
make sure.
we don't get anything from referring our team or referring contractors. It's just we have the peace of mind knowing that
Yeah.
we're helping you, and we have a good history or good rapport with this company or person,
Yeah.
and that's why
Yeah.
we're referring.
Yeah. So that's the main thing, like for me, for the baby boomers, I do have some lawyers that I work with, a financial planner I work with, and even immigration lawyer that I work with that are vetted,
That's full
so
service, SB.
huh?
That's full service. You even have an immigration attorney.
Yeah, because I a lot of my clients are Filipinos, and especially here in LA or even in the Silicon Valley where I work, years and years, there's a multinational people who are investing. There's a lot of them who came in here as immigrants and started with as a first time home buyer, and then later on they're buying the second house, the third house, and before you know it, you have to also think about some of the laws like immigration. There are reasons why you might need them.
Yeah, laws change all the time.
So
Like
often.
now,
Yeah.
the DACA recipients, they can now qualify for an FHA loan. So that's a new pool of homeowners that you have there that are immigrants that came here undocumented, and now they're able to buy a home themselves. So that's good. You have immigration attorneys on hand. I think too, a lot of the baby boomers, they need trust, right? They need to get their estate set up or their trust set up. So it's good that you have attorneys that you can refer to them.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing is realtors, a lot of the times we have to wear different hats, and we are always constantly out there meeting new people, meeting getting involved with different organizations, so that when it comes to servicing our clients, we have some people that we can also refer to that are more reliable, right?
Yes, yeah. It doesn't
Yeah,
just it's not just limited to getting a home,
Yeah.
but
right.
the overall
Yeah.
picture, like things related to the home.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times it's the biggest investment they have, whether it's just their home
Definitely.
or,
Yes,
maybe a
that's the
home
biggest
and a couple
asset.
of investment properties they have. Yeah. So there you go.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Real estate investing 101.
I know, if there's anything that we missed or if you have any other questions, just contact any one of us and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Most definitely.
Yes.
All
All
righty.
right.
I mean, that basically wraps up our investment properties episode. So we will see you guys next week. We will talk about
What
some
are we
hot
talking
issues
about
in
next week, Jen?
next week. We'll be talking about some hot issues in today's market, dealing
Yeah.
with a pandemic, multiple
Mm-hmm.
offer strategies, cashing out fat equities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions that we've been getting from a lot of our viewers. So
Yeah.
Ooh,
make
how
sure to tune in next
fun.
week. We'll see you
Yay.
guys then.
All right,
Yeah.
bye.
All
Bye.
right. Thank
Have a good
you.